All right. My name is Mr. Spencer, Reagan High School Statistics. Today we're going to be creating a stem and leaf plot, specifically a back-to-back stem and leaf plot. This is page 52 of the note spiral, so you need to be on page 52 of the note spiral. And the stem and leaf plot is one of the most basic quantitative graphs, and quite frankly, it's extremely powerful. Because it's a quantitative graph, we're able to cuss with it. We're able to see center, unusual features, shape, and spread. We basically can see everything that we need to see. And the great thing about a stem and leaf plot, or stem plot as I'll call it from this point forward, is you can see all of the data values. All of the data values show up, so nothing is lost. Unfortunately, the reason we don't use this very often is it's very difficult to use, or unwieldy, I should say, because if you have a large data set. However, for small data sets, it's extremely powerful and one of the best graphs there is, perhaps the best. Now, you're going to need to take your calculators out and input all this data into the calculator, and I'm going to go over how to do that. So hopefully you're looking at my calculator, because this is about the fourth time I've tried recording this, so I'm not going to be fancy this time because I've been a failure. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated. So if you go to Stat Edit, and I can see that I have a data entry error right away, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. That should say 120. And so we should have 120, 85, 90, 83. And if I scroll all the way down, my last value on that first list was 102. And so that's what I have there. My last value is 102. And so I put all the first lists, the list for the backs in L1, and I put the list for forwards in L2. And you can see that 115 and there's 105, et cetera, for L2. All right, so that's when you put all the lists, everything into the list. Now, when you're done, because this is actually not just a stem plot, this is a back-to-back stem plots. In other words, we're doing two at a time. It should look like something like this. All right, and the middle numbers are known as stems, and the numbers to the edges are known as leaves. So when I look at the first number I have up here at 75, then and always know that your leaf is the number farthest to the right. So 75 has a stem of 7 and a leaf of 5. 87, stem of 8, leaf of 7. If I went to, let's say I look at 113, this case, my leaf is 3 and my stem is 11. So the leaf is always the number furthest to the right. Now, we're going to have to put these in order from least to greatest. And that's something that, honestly, I didn't like stem and leaf plots because I always missed something when I went to put them in order from least to greatest. The calculator, though, is pretty friendly to us, can help us with that problem. So if I press second, you know what, I'm going to get to a clear screen. So second quit, and I have a nice clear screen. And if it wasn't, I just hit the clear button. So I'm going to go second, then I'm going to press the word list or stat. I'm going to arrow 1 over to operations, and I want sort A. That means sort in ascending order, so from least to greatest. I'm going to press enter. Now, I need to tell them what column I want. I'm going to do the first column. So I'm going to press second and then the number 1. So that's L1. So L1 should now be in least to greatest. So let's go back and check. So we go to Stat Edit. And sure enough, my smallest number is 75. And we remember that my largest number should have been 120. And it is. Now, I didn't change L2 yet. All right. So I haven't changed L2 yet, but I've changed L1. So I can look at this and go, hey, my leaf is 0, my stem is 12, okay? In this case, my stem is 9, my leaf is 1. Stem of 9, leaf of 0, etc. All right, so then I can go ahead and draw this out. And so my smallest one, I'm going to go back up to the top. Oops. My smallest is 75. So 75, then I have a 77, then I have a 79. And you'll notice, hey, there's no 78, so I didn't worry about putting in an 8 for a leaf. So you can skip leaves if they don't exist, but never ever skip a stem. Never ever skip a stem. So basically I end up getting a graph that looks something like this. And it's like, hey, I can definitely see the shape up to this. And since I have more numbers at the low end and fewer at the high number, this has been stretched to the right. It's been stretched to the right, so that means it's skewed to the right because it's skewed, stretched to the high numbers. So it's skewed to the skewed right. All right, I want to do the same thing for the second column. So I'm going to go second quit to get to clear screen and press clear. And I'm going to go second list, and let's put that in order from least to greatest. I go to operations, sort ascending, so sort A. And now second and the number 2. All right. And so now I have 89 as my smallest number, and it should go all the way up to 128. And I know it's 128 because I can look at the graph that I already made and I said, oh yeah, it's 128, so I better have 128. And sure enough, I did. Obviously, I went past that too fast. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 128. And I have two 115s. There they are, 114, 10. All right. And I can look at this graph and go, you know what? This is reasonably symmetric. Reasonably symmetric. One very important thing, when you do this, you must always have your labels. So I labeled backs and forwards. You must also have a key or legend. And I just chose a number. Didn't matter what number I chose. I chose 103 and 10 line 3. If you notice, 103 was not on the data set, but we know that that's 10 is my stem, 3 is my leaf, so I have 103, and it was measured in kilograms. Now, what they didn't ask you to do, but I guarantee that AP is going to expect you to do, is compare and contrast these in text. So let's do that real quickly. So the backs, the weight for the backs we said was skewed to the right. And I can go to look at the median and say it's around 90, because I can sit there and just count these out. All right, count out 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I can get up to 90. So it's around 90 kilograms, not exactly, but close enough, or it's in the 90s. The backs have a range of 45, and that's just subtraction, and lie within the interval 75 to 120. So I've just, at this point, I've made no comparison. I've just described what we have. The weights for the forwards are reasonably symmetric and mound shaped with a median of about 105. The forwards weights have a range of 41 kilogram and lie within the interval 89 to 128. Then I need to do what AP expects me to do. They don't want me to just tell them what the shape is. They want me to make a comparison. So the comparison looks like this. The weights of the backs are skewed to the right, while that of the forwards is symmetric and mound shaped. The forwards median weight is 105 and is higher than the 94 median weight of the backs. The backs have a range of weights of 45 and are more spread out than that of the forward range of weights is 41 kilograms. So basically, I didn't have unusual features, so I didn't discuss it. I did have center. I made the comparison. I made a comparison shape, and I made a comparison spread. So basically, not only did I give what each one looked like, I made a comparison. So whenever you have multiple graphs, you always have to provide the comparison.